Hello friends, I am Nikhil Gowda, the Political Science and International Relations faculty at InsightsIAS. So welcome to PSIR Analytica. So today we'll be taking up a question from paper 1 part B, that is on the parliament. The question is that is Indian parliament sovereign? Comment on it. So friend, the question here they're asking is that the idea what has to be introduced is parliamentary sovereignty. Parliamentary sovereignty. So in this regard, you can introduce the question whether asking your opinion, whether we can say Indian parliament is sovereign. So here you can say the concept or the idea of parliamentary sovereignty was given by A.B. Dicey, who said that among the three organs of the government, the parliament is superior or the supreme organ. And his view was based on the British Parliament, where he said the British Parliament is highly powerful compared to the judiciary in that regard and the executive. And here you can also bring the views of D. Lolme, another British political scientist, who says that British Parliament is powerful to change everything and anything except turn a man into woman, vice versa. So this you can introduce about in what respect or what do we understand by the idea of parliamentary sovereignty. Then coming to the question that is Indian parliament sovereign, here you can bring the arguments in that regard. Upendra Bakshi argues that Indian parliament is not sovereign because in India we have constitutional supremacy. Then you can say that the Indian constitution brings separation of powers, to keep check on each organ. And you can see in the initial period the parliament tried to assert its sovereignty through article 368, where it tried to amend the constitution, claiming that it has rights to amend any part of the constitution. However, this was kept in check by the Supreme Court. You can say by innovation in Keshavananda Bharati case, the idea of doctrine of basic structure. Then you can also speak about article 13 and article 32, which gives the power to the Supreme Court and the high courts with respect to judicial review, under which the Supreme Court can declare any law as unconstitutional brought by the parliament in that regard. Then you can also bring the other limitation on parliament sovereignty has been with respect to for certain parts of the constitution you need also assent or ratification from half of the states. So you can give the example of the GST Act in that regard. Then you can also bring with respect to the other limitation on the idea of parliamentary supremacy or the sovereignties in that regard. You can also bring an argument saying that within the Indian political process, you can say that the constitution, especially the preamble, it carries various philosophy and principle of the Indian constitution. So in this regard, when parliaments enacts a law, they have to bring certain regulation or the law should be according to the principle enacted by the constitutional makers in that regard. This to a certain also limits the parliament sovereignty in India in that regard. So you can say currently the parliament has the power under article 368 to amend those provisions of the constitution which does not violate the basic structure. Through enactment of the basic structure, the Supreme Court has expanded its power, and we can see in India, we see the emergence of judicial supremacy. Where we are moving towards more, where judiciary has become predominant compared to parliament, where judiciary is entered the area of parliament, such as you can give Vishaka guidelines, where judiciary has gone into the area of lawmaking. So in this regard, you can say that Indian parliament is not sovereign or supreme when we compare to the British parliament in that regard. In Indian parliament works within a Lakshman Rekha which has been drawn by the Supreme Court through its limiting act. So something like that you can write as part of your answer with regard to the question regarding that is Indian parliament sovereign. So introduce the idea of parliamentary sovereignty, then try to bring about the limitations which are there. So you can say fundamental rights is a limitation, judicial review is a limitation, judicial activism is again a limitation, the doctrine of basic structure, it is a limitation on parliament's supremacy. Then you can say federal feature of the Indian constitution is a check on the parliamentary sovereignty. So this is what you can write in your answer, friends. So with this, we are ending today's session. We'll again meet tomorrow with a new question. Till then, stay safe, take care.